The second chapter of Fire Emblem 4, Disturbance in Agustria, is a chapter that some people tend to take issue with. Be it the backtracking or the really tight window to save all the houses, this is considered by some to be one of FE4's weaker maps. And I'm here to tell them all that their opinions are factually wrong, and my opinion is factually correct, with no room for debate. Because Disturbance in Agustria is a very important chapter for the world building and story in FE4, and I want to talk about its excellence in gameplay story integration. So sit back and please listen to the tale of Disturbance in Agustria, or Crisis in Agustria for the older fans. And speaking of Crisis, that's what you're gonna be in if you don't like and subscribe to me right now!
There is no meme. This is just a threat.
The story of Agustria starts slightly before Chapter 2. In Chapter 1, a nobleman of Agustria, Eldigan, rides to our dear protagonist Sigurd to check up on him after he hears that Sigurd's been engaging in a mild amount of foreign invasion. Hearing that Sigurd has to go invade the southern kingdom of Verdane, Eldigan agrees to watch his back, feeling that the other nobles in Agustria might be eager to seize the territory Sigurd has while he's off fighting. And soon Elliot, another nobleman of Agustria, does exactly what Eldigan thought he would, and makes for a march on Sigurd's territory. Elliot and Eldigan get into... well, to call it a fight would be disingenuous, it's more like a one-sided slaughter, and Eldigan remarks that King Umuka desires peace with foreign nations, and Elliot remarks that no one gives a shit what the king says, and he runs back home with his ass quite well handed to him on a silver platter. This scene portrays Agustria as very divided, but hey, as long as Eldigan and King Umuka are around, the corrupt nobles should be staved off.
I'm dying.
And this brings us to Chapter 2, where King Umuka is assassinated by his own son Chagall, and the nobles of Agustria see Sigurd's conquests and go, ah shit, he's a little close to us, ain't he? And agree that he needs to go fuck himself, so they rally against him. Eldigan sees that Chagall's plans for war are a terrible idea, so he tries to go talk to him, and Chagall wants none of Eldigan's sensible decisions, or war is bad propaganda, and he throws him in a dungeon. So now, Umuka is dead, and Eldigan is powerless. And the rest of Agustria sees this opportunity to engage in bullshit that Sigurd has to go stop. So it's Sigurd versus 4 houses. Herhain, led by Boldor and his son, the aforementioned asshole Elliot, Anthony, led by Macbeth, Macaulay, led by Clement, and the capital Augusti, led by Chagall. So let's talk about the gameplay of Chapter 2. You start at the bottom right of the map, and you need to hoof it to the center. Lachesis and her knights are under attack by Elliot, and she's not gonna last too long. She serves as the immediate problem. There are brigands up north led by Macbeth, and they serve as the secondary problem. They're busy pillaging villages, and you need to quickly work to get to them, to save the innocent bargain band, innocent lives. And Clement isn't doing anything at the start. If he attacked you in addition to all the other shit, it'd be way too much at once, so you deal with him after you deal with Macbeth, and he serves as the tertiary problem, and then it's a straight shot to Chagall. You make sort of a Y shape, except that the Y was drawn by someone who had never seen a Y before, and instead drew one after being told what a Y looked like. So how does that gameplay relate to the story? Well, all of those objectives serve both as a gameplay element, but also explain Agustria's issues. Elliot attacking Lachesis in gameplay is an objective, but in lore, it shows that his desire to get his dick wet is more important to him than anything. He's willing to let people die just to fuel his perversion, and his dad doesn't have any problem with it. Macbeth's brigands are an anti-turtle incentive, but it also shows that he's a greedy and heartless man, willing to kill innocents just so he can line his own pockets. And Clement not doing anything stops the player from being overwhelmed, and while he isn't being actively evil, he's being incredibly apathetic. He sees injustices occurring, and he's content to sit on his ass until those issues are brought to him, and at that point, it's too late for him. And Chagall killed his own dad just so he could start waging a war, and that one's self-explanatory. Through playing the game, players get a full grasp that Agustria is a divided, chaotic place that's full of nobles who do not want to help anyone other than themselves. And this chaos is important to the story. When Sigurd frees Eldigan, he's not greeted with a warm welcome. Eldigan is rightfully pissed that Sigurd annexed his country. Sigurd promises to try and make Agustria stable, but given 6 months of governing, Sigurd can't do it, and it doesn't feel like it's due to his own incompetence. The player has clearly seen how fucked up the country is, so it's no wonder Sigurd can't get it done. It would have been easy to just say, Agustria is fucked up, but by giving the nobles diverse actions that are all different in their scumminess, the player has experienced firsthand how fucked up the land is, and they can empathize with both Eldigan and Sigurd. Disturbance in Agustria's layout helps the player understand the story of chapters 2 and 3 very well, in a way that couldn't have been felt if it was just told to them in a text box. So while the map gets dunked on, I actually think it's one of FE4's best, and hell, I enjoy playing it too. Better than Chapter 7. Chapter 7 sucks.